Welcome back to Transportation Development. It's all about your transportation sales tax and how those dollars are being used in our community. I'm talking today with Dan Frazier, and he is with the Berkeley, Charleston, Dorchester Council of Governments, and that's one of the areas of planning that's being done in our community to make sure those dollars are used as best we can. Dan, when we were talking earlier, I was asking you about the use of dollars for planning and how the agencies that are associated with the COG, the Council of Governments, if I can, and you were telling me that you are mostly responsible for the planning. And just reiterate a little bit about what the COG does exactly and what your particular responsibility is in the way of planning.
Okay, we have a staff of planners. Planning is a subset of the COG, and we serve as staff for the Council of Governments. They have a board of directors. They also have an executive committee. We're also staff for the CHATS Policy Committee. That's the MPO. So we provide staff services there. We also as I discussed earlier, we maintain all of the mandated requirements that for us as a metropolitan planning organization, CHATS, MPO. But we also do in-house work such as comprehensive plans. We currently are doing Lincolnville Comprehensive Plan, and we've also done corridor studies. We've recently done the Riverland Drive corridor study on James Island. We're also doing the Folly Road corridor study. We're managing that project, and that's a multi-jurisdictional project between James Island, City of Charleston, the county, and the town of Folly Beach.
I promised everyone that we would talk about how the planning is done, of course, and then what happens if the plans become obsolete for some reason or out of date. But before we get into that, I wanted everyone to understand exactly, just a little bit more about the Council of Governments. When we talk about the council, we literally are talking about representatives from all these jurisdictions, Charleston, Dorchester, Berkeley County, that come together. They also receive services that they may not have been able to afford on their own. And you're providing, the agency that you're working with, the COG, provides all of these long-range plans and all of this kind of thing, which is of huge importance to these communities, these smaller communities. And they couldn't do it without you. I mean, without the COG.
That's
I wouldn't
correct.
think.
We're a unique entity in that we're a regional entity. We do more than transportation-related work. We do more than just planning-related work. We also do regional water quality. We have a SC Works program underneath our roof. We also manage the Tri-County Link, which is a rural transit agency. And I'm probably missing one or two things that I don't work directly on. We're the grants administrator for the CDBG grants, Community Development Block Grants. Yes. As well as all of the Federal Transit Agency grants.
So we could break that down if we could to federal. We have federal programs involved.
Correct.
We have local government programs involved.
We do.
The cities and the counties. And are there other types of organizations that would be a part of all of this? That for the people, that work for the people, meaning councils, city councils, county councils, those kinds of things. Did I get all of them?
Well, right.
Federal,
we interact.
State,
we've
local.
got the federal, state, and local.
Yeah.
And then the transit agencies that go along with that. Our board of directors and our policy committee is made up of elected officials as well as appointed officials from each of the jurisdictions, as well as the airport authority, the ports authority. So it's bringing together all of these entities, and it makes for a unique environment because oftentimes this is the only time, these meetings are the only times that all of these folks are brought into the same room.
And there's no way that most of these areas, meaning county governments, et cetera, small towns, could afford to keep up with all of the needs and responsibilities that they would have interacting with the federal government, the state government, and all, without a council of governments.
Certainly, especially in the rural areas.
And they have high-level professionals who are there to help them prepare plans and to take care of their business as they should.
That's right, especially in the rural areas. They're
Yeah.
less sophisticated, and they have to be. They have less going on. They have less money to spend on an administration, so they'll lean on us for professional support in many different sectors.
And advice and all of that.
Advice, assistance with applying for grants, actually administering projects for them. We manage projects for McClellanville. Well, Hanahan's a bigger city, but out in McClellanville, the pedestrian bridge, as an example, they don't have the capacity to manage a project and work it through an engineering firm. We do that on their behalf with grant money that they had received for a specific project. So,
And the planning is just one area
That's
of
correct.
the Council of Governments for Berkeley, Charleston, and Dorchester.
Right.
It's just one area. So we're sort of homing in on the planning part today, because I'm curious about the fact that we have to make plans, and the planning is going to be essential if we're going to be successful in providing, in this case, road projects, whether they be small or large. We need to be able to take advantage of resources like the federal government, the state government, and of course the local dollars like the sales tax dollars.
Right.
And so there has to be some planning involved. And that's where a part of what you do and a part of what your organization does as a service to the community. And it has to be done. I mean, we just can't go out there and say, well, we're going to put in a road, or we're going to build a new bridge, or we're even going to repair one. We need to look at certain statistical information that lets us know, and other kinds of data that lets us know whether or not we're doing the right thing, and that we're not just operating for now, we're also providing for the future.
Right.
And that's kind of where it's going at this point. So my question from the last segment is, what happens when plans go out of date? How do you keep up with the current mode of this community, with all of this newness, the folks that are coming into the area from all over the country? We seem to have road systems that need to be developed as quickly as possible. We need to make repairs. We've got bridges that need our attention. We've got all of these things happening at one time. How do you and people like you, the planners, keep up with all of this?
Well, you touched on a lot there. With most of the plans that we maintain, whether it's a comprehensive plan for a jurisdiction or the long-range plan that we prepare for the urban or the rural side of the Berkeley, Charleston, Dorchester region, these plans are updated at a certain period of time. For the long-range plan, it's updated every 5 years. Comprehensive plans are required to be updated periodically as mandated by the state. So that in part keeps plans fresh. But when you're talking about a specific plan that has to do with maybe adding lanes to an existing corridor or a brand new road, sometimes they can get mired up, slowed down, often in the environmental assessment process, the NEPA process they call it. And there's been times where projects have hung around for so long before construction started that they were in need of additional funds due to that. Obviously, everybody wants to avoid that if possible, but it's part of the game.
The cost of making a road or creating a road goes up all the time.
It does.
And it's expensive.
It is, and oftentimes the original projected cost doesn't equal what it ended up costing when the road is completely built. It's difficult to control a lot of factors. A lot of factors have to do with permitting, and the time involved is sometimes it seems like it's nonsensical, but there's actually a practical approach to every time a permit is required. And it's, the permitting process, a lot of it has to do with protecting our environment above and beyond the road. And I don't think anybody could rationally argue that that's not a good idea.
When traffic backs up on Highway 17, let's say in Mount Pleasant,
Yes.
which it does quite often, and not just in Mount Pleasant, but in other parts of the community as well, in our county. I'm thinking about Charleston County right now. I imagine the same thing's going on in Dorchester and Berkeley, but certainly I live in Charleston County, so I'm curious about this. Are you aware of the fact that there may be these traffic problems? And if so, where do you get that information from? And then what do you do with it?
Well, we do, as I mentioned earlier, we maintain the transportation demand model for the region, and not only that, but the nuts and bolts of the model we make available to consultants and to jurisdictions, and a lot of times they will use that data to prepare traffic analysis reports that might be required. If a brand new big box is going in on a corner, they're going to want a traffic analysis report to decide on whether that stop sign will be adequate or do they need to upgrade it to a signal. And those are the type of small scale things that impact congestion a lot of times. You could probably name 10 roads off the top of your head that really need a signal now, or really need a right turn lane, or really need this or that. And a lot of that's done at the local level. The counties do a great job, and the individual jurisdictions do a good job of it. We provide support for that, but at the same time, we kind of look at the bigger picture, the bigger projects. The multi-million-dollar projects are the type of projects that we include in our long-range transportation plan.
You just don't hand the communities these problems back and say, listen, here are the numbers now, and you need to find some money. Are you assisting, COG assists with finding resources, financial resources, is that not true?
We do.
Through federal and...
We help prepare applications. One successful transportation program is the Tiger Grant program. We've had, I think we had 4 submitted in our region, and 2 of them, our office was instrumental in submitting.
That's a great way to end the program. We appreciate you so much in providing us with the information that you have. And a lot's going on in our community, and we just want everybody to know that. A lot is going on. It's not just putting down pavement. There is a lot that's required and that's happening, and you should know that. I've been talking with Dan Frazier, and he is with the Dorchester Charleston Council of Governments, and we've learned a lot about planning and what's happening in our lives, and I hope that you've enjoyed our program. Also, if you want to get additional program on what's going on in our communities as it regards transportation development and other areas, but especially what's going on with transportation development and the use of the transportation sales tax, there are a series of places on your screen now. Utilize those. We would appreciate it. Again, I hope that you've enjoyed our program as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. This has been the Transportation Development Program. It's all about transportation sales tax and the good uses that we're putting it to. We'll see you the next time. I'm Cheryl Harleston.